The Awakening Giant. Commander Maya Chen stood at the viewport of Lunar Base Alpha, staring at the blue marble of Earth hanging in the void. 20 years had passed since humanity's first contact with the Galactic Council, and for 20 years they had been treated as little more than curious primitives. The Council, a confederation of 17 spacefaring species, had allowed humans limited access to their technology, restricted trade routes, and kept Earth under what they called protective oversight. "Commander, you need to see this." Lieutenant Rodriguez approached with a data pad, his expression grim. Maya took the pad, scanning the decrypted message their intelligence team had intercepted. Her blood ran cold as she read. "Are we sure this is authentic?" "Triple verified. The Council's Inner Circle plans to implement full quarantine protocols on Earth within the month. They're calling us an unpredictable evolutionary anomaly that requires containment measures for the safety of the galaxy." Maya's jaw tightened. Containment measures. Pretty words for imprisonment. For 2 decades, humanity had played by the Council's rules, accepting their patronizing guidance, their trade restrictions, their technological embargoes, all while smiling and saying thank you. "It's time, isn't it?" Rodriguez asked quietly. Maya nodded slowly. "Call Admiral Okonkwo. Tell him we're going to Protocol Lazarus." Rodriguez saluted and hurried away. Maya returned her gaze to Earth, thinking of the billions of humans who had no idea what was coming. The Council thought they knew everything about humanity's capabilities. They were about to learn how wrong they were. Admiral Tund Okonkwo stood in the massive underground hangar carved into the asteroid Ceres, watching as technicians prepared the ship that officially didn't exist. The UESS Prometheus gleamed under the harsh industrial lights, its midnight black hull absorbing rather than reflecting the illumination. "Magnificent, isn't she?" Dr. Eliza Zhang joined him at the railing, her eyes shining with pride. As chief engineer of Project Lazarus, she had every right to be proud. "You've outdone yourself, Doctor," Okonkwo said. "Will she be ready?" "She's been ready for 3 years, Admiral. Just waiting for the order." The Prometheus was humanity's ace in the hole, a Dreadnought-class warship constructed in absolute secrecy, using both reverse-engineered alien technology and purely human innovations. While the Council believed Earth had a handful of obsolete frigates for system defense, the Prometheus represented a quantum leap forward in military capability. "The crew?" Okonkwo asked. "Captain Katri has been running simulations with her team for 18 months. They're as prepared as they can be without actual deployment." A junior officer approached them, saluting smartly. "Admiral, we've received confirmation. The Council diplomatic envoy has arrived in Earth orbit. President Alvarez is meeting with them now." Okonkwo nodded. "And our intelligence assets within the diplomatic corps?" "In position, sir. They'll alert us the moment the Council delegation reveals their intentions." The Admiral looked back at the massive ship. At just over 2 kilometers in length, the Prometheus was larger than anything the Council races typically fielded. Not that they knew that. "Have Captain Katri prepare for immediate departure. I want her ready to move as soon as we get word." In the diplomatic chamber of the United Earth Government headquarters in Geneva, President Sofia Alvarez maintained a pleasant smile as she faced the alien delegation. Ambassador Thexkull of the Veldari led the Council representatives, his 4 eyes blinking in their unsettling non-synchronized pattern. "We appreciate your ongoing cooperation, President Alvarez," the ambassador said, his translator rendering his clicks and whistles into smooth English. "The Council continues to be impressed with humanity's progress." Sofia nodded graciously. "We value our relationship with the Council and look forward to expanded rights and privileges as we continue to demonstrate our species' maturity." Ambassador Thexkull's skin rippled in what humans had learned was the Veldari equivalent of discomfort. "Yes, well, about that. The Council has been reevaluating certain protocols regarding emerging species." "Oh." Sofia kept her expression neutral, though she knew what was coming. "For the safety and stability of galactic civilization, the Council has determined that Earth requires a period of Deeper guidance. We're implementing a protective quarantine protocol. I see, Sophia said carefully. And what does this protective quarantine entail? Nothing too disruptive, Thexkel assured her. Your system traffic will be monitored by Council peacekeepers. Technology transfers will be temporarily suspended. Your existing extrasolar colonies will be allowed to continue operations, but no new settlements will be permitted. It's all quite standard for species at your development stage. That sounds rather restrictive, Ambassador, Sophia noted. May I ask what prompted this decision? Earth has been a model participant in galactic affairs. One of the other delegates, a reptilian exterior, leaned forward. Certain aspects of human psychology and history have raised concerns. Your species shows unusually rapid technological adaptation and troubling military tendencies. I understand, Sophia said, maintaining her diplomatic smile. When would these measures take effect? Immediately, Thexkel said. Council peacekeeping vessels are already establishing positions throughout your system. Sophia felt a surge of anger, but kept it carefully hidden, without prior consultation. A precautionary measure only, the ambassador assured her. We've observed some concerning activities in your outer system that suggested you might react poorly to these necessary restrictions. Sophia's aide leaned close, whispering in her ear. She nodded almost imperceptibly. Ambassador, I'll need to consult with my cabinet before responding formally to these measures, Sophia said, rising from her seat. Perhaps we could reconvene in a few hours. Of course, Madam President, Thexkel agreed. The Council appreciates your cooperation. As the aliens filed out, Sophia's expression hardened. Her aide handed her a secure comm unit. Admiral Okonkwo. The Council's shown their hand. Execute Protocol Lazarus. Captain Nisha Kavtri moved through the corridors of the Prometheus with brisk efficiency, nodding to crew members as they made final preparations. As the ship's commanding officer, she projected absolute confidence, though inside her stomach churned with anticipation. Engineering reports all systems green, Commander Jackson reported, falling into step beside her. Weapons, propulsion, shields, everything checks out. And our special packages? Katri asked quietly. Loaded and secure. Dr. Zhang personally verified the containment systems. They entered the bridge, a spacious command center with state-of-the-art holographic displays and control interfaces. The bridge crew snapped to attention. As you were, Chatri said, taking her place in the command chair. Status report. Council peacekeeping vessels have established positions at all Lagrange points and near-Earth orbits, Lieutenant Commander Abernathy reported from Tactical. 7 ships total, all Enforcer class. Nothing we can't handle. They've also set up a blockade around Mars Colony and the Jovian mining stations, added Lieutenant Park from Communications. Local authorities report the Council forces are being politely insistent about compliance. Katri's eyes narrowed. And our exit route? Clear, Captain. Navigation Officer Chen replied. The stealth systems are functioning perfectly. The Council has no idea we're here. A priority communication flashed on Katri's personal display. She read the message, then looked up at her expectant crew. We have our orders. The President has authorized Protocol Lazarus. Humanity is done playing the obedient child. She straightened in her chair. Navigation. Plot course for the Council Nexus at Arcturus. Communications. Transmit readiness confirmation to Admiral Okonkwo. Engineering. Bring the drive systems to full power. As her orders were acknowledged, Katri felt the subtle vibration through the deck plates as the massive ship systems came fully online. Today, the Galactic Council learns that humanity will not be contained, she said quietly. Lieutenant Park, shipwide announcement. Park nodded, activating the internal communication system. Crew of the Prometheus. Chatri began, her voice ringing through every compartment of the enormous vessel. For years we have prepared for this day. While Earth smiled and bowed to the Council's restrictions, we built this ship in secret. While we accepted their patronizing guidance, We develop technologies they believe beyond our capabilities. She paused, looking around at her bridge crew, the best and brightest Earth had to offer. The Council has revealed their true intentions. They fear us. They seek to contain us, to imprison our species in our home system and stifle our potential. Today, we show them why their fear is justified. Not because humans are the monsters they believe us to be, but because we will never accept chains, no matter how diplomatically they're presented. The massive docking clamps released with a reverberating thud felt throughout the ship. Our mission is clear. We will proceed to the Council Nexus and demonstrate our true capabilities. We will negotiate from a position of strength, not as supplicants, but as equals. And if they refuse to recognize us as such, she left the implication hanging. Prepare for departure. Prometheus Actual. Out. In the cavernous launch bay, carved from the heart of Cirrus, Admiral Okonkwo watched as the massive dreadnought's engines glowed to life. Besides him, President Alvarez's holographic avatar observed with a solemn expression. "Do you think they'll listen to reason, Admiral?" she asked. "They're bureaucrats and politicians, Madam President. They'll listen to power," Okonkwo replied. "For 20 years, they've seen only what we wanted them to see, a young, eager species grateful for their guidance. And now they'll see what we really are." The massive ship began to move, gliding with impossible grace for something its size. A species that survived its own worst instincts, a species that faced nuclear annihilation, climate catastrophe, and resource depletion, and overcame them all. The Prometheus cleared the asteroid hangar, its stealth systems already rendering it virtually invisible to conventional sensors. The Council races evolved in cooperative environments, Okonkwo continued. Their homeworlds were gentle cradles. Earth was never so kind. We were forged in adversity, tempered by crisis after crisis. That's what they fear, not what we are, but what crucible shaped us. And the Prometheus will make that fear concrete, Alvarez observed. "Yes, Madam President. After today, the galaxy will never see humanity the same way again." As they watched, the massive warship's engines flared brilliant blue, and in a heartbeat, it vanished into FTL, carrying humanity's message to the stars. Deep within the Prometheus, Captain Capri felt the familiar disorientation of faster-than-light travel. On the main view screen, the stars blurred and stretched. "Course laid in for the Arcturus Nexus," navigation reported. "Estimated arrival in 14 hours. Ketri nodded, settling back in her command chair. "Now we wait, and then we show the Council exactly what humanity is capable of." The massive ship hurtled through the void, carrying within it humanity's technological achievements, their determination, and their unwillingness to be caged. The sleeping giant had awakened, and the galaxy would soon tremble. Reckoning Day. High Arbiter Vexmore stood in the central chamber of the Arcturus Nexus, the massive space station that served as the administrative heart of the Galactic Council. Three-dimensional displays showed the status of the 17 protected systems, including Sol, humanity's home. "The containment fleet is in position around Earth," reported First Minister Califar of the Meridian Collective. "The humans are protesting, but their vessels have made no aggressive moves." As expected, Vexmore said, mandibles clicking in satisfaction. "Their psychological profile indicates they will attempt diplomatic appeals first. By the time they consider military action, our position will be unassailable." "Are we certain this is necessary?" asked Elder Shima, Telex of the Oraxi Conclave. The oldest member of the Inner Circle, Shima had lived through 3 cycles of expansion and had seen many species rise to join the galactic community. "The humans have shown remarkable adaptability and innovation, perhaps with proper guidance." "That adaptability is precisely what concerns us," interrupted Security Director Krasful, the hulking Varg representative. "No species in recorded history has advanced technologically as quickly as the humans. from their first primitive radio signals to rudimentary spaceflight in less than a century. From discovering nuclear fission to developing fusion in mere decades, the pattern is clear and concerning. Vexmore gestured agreement. The predictive models are unanimous. Given unrestricted development, humans will achieve technological parity with the Council within 50 years. Within 100, they could surpass us. That doesn't mean they're a threat, Shima argued. Their diplomatic interactions have been consistently peaceful. On the surface, Kraz full growled. But our deep intelligence indicates they're naturally territorial and aggressive. They've spent most of their recorded history fighting amongst themselves. Imagine those tendencies directed outward. The chamber fell silent as each member contemplated this disturbing possibility. The Council had maintained peace among spacefaring civilizations for millennia by carefully managing the development of emerging species. Some required gentle guidance, others firm restrictions. Humanity, it seemed, needed containment. An urgent alert chimed, drawing all eyes to the central display. A technician's voice came through, high-pitched with alarm. High Arbiter, sensors have detected an unidentified vessel approaching the Nexus. It's massive, stir. And the energy signature doesn't match anything in our database. Show me, Vexmore commanded. The holographic display shifted to show a real-time image that caused several Council members to gasp. A sleek, dark vessel was decelerating from FTL, larger than any warship in the Council fleet. Its design was unmistakably human in aesthetics, yet far more advanced than anything Earth was supposed to possess. Impossible, whispered Calathar. Our intelligence indicated the humans had only a handful of outdated frigates. Clearly, Shima said dryly, our intelligence was incomplete. Captain Katri felt a surge of satisfaction as the Prometheus emerged from FTL, the massive Arcturus Nexus filling the main view screen. Surrounding the sprawling space station was the Council's defense fleet, 40 vessels of various sizes, though none approached the Prometheus in scale or capability. They've detected us, Captain, reported Lieutenant Commander Abernethy. Their vessels are moving to intercept. Weapons hot. Hold position, Chaktri ordered. Let them come to us. Lieutenant Park, open a channel to the Nexus. Let's introduce ourselves properly. Park's fingers danced across his console. Channel open, Captain. Katri straightened in her chair. This is Captain Nisha Katri of the United Earth ship Prometheus, requesting communication with the Galactic Council Inner Circle. We come representing the free people of Earth and her colonies. For several long moments, there was silence. Then a voice responded, the translator rendering it in crisp English. Human vessel, this is Security Director Kraz Thul of the Galactic Council. You are in violation of Council space. Your presence here is unauthorized and your vessel unregistered. Power down your systems and prepare to be boarded. Katri smiled thinly. I'm afraid that won't be possible, Director. We're here to discuss the Council's recent decision to quarantine Earth. Perhaps High Arbiter Vexmore would be willing to speak with us directly. Another pause, longer this time. The Council ships continued their approach, forming a half-circle around the Prometheus. Captain, Abernethy warned, they're targeting our propulsion systems. Defensive measures only, Chaktri responded. Activate shields but hold weapons. The voice of Vexmore finally came through. Captain Katri, this is High Arbiter Vexmore. Your vessel's presence here is a direct violation of Council directives. The quarantine of Sol system is non-negotiable. It is for your own protection and the stability of the galactic community. With respect, High Arbiter, Chaktri replied. Earth does not recognize the Council's authority to restrict our movement or development. We've come to negotiate new terms for humanity's relationship with the galactic community, as equals, not as subjects. A dismissive click came through the comm. The Council does not negotiate under threat, Captain. Your single vessel, however impressive, cannot stand against the Council fleet. Perhaps a demonstration is in order, Chaktri said coolly. Commander Abernethy, Activate our special package Alpha. Limited yield, targeted at the empty space between our position and the approaching vessels. Aye, Captain. Special package Alpha deploying. From a launch bay on the Prometheus's ventral hull, a small projectile emerged, racing toward the designated coordinates. Before the Council vessels could respond, it detonated, not in a conventional explosion, but in a rapidly expanding sphere of rippling energy that distorted space itself. Every Council ship caught in the effect suddenly went dark, their systems completely shut down by the localized gravity wave. They drifted helplessly, emergency systems slowly bringing minimal power back online. What you just witnessed, Chatri announced over the still-open channel, is a gravitational displacement weapon. Technology the Council believes is centuries beyond human capability. We developed it 3 years ago. The silence from the Nexus was profound. Now, Chatri continued, I believe we should discuss those new terms. In the Council chamber, chaos reigned as members shouted over each other, demanding explanations and actions. High Arbiter Vex Moore struggled to maintain order. How is this possible? Demanded First Minister Calathar. Our intelligence said they were decades away from practical gravity manipulation. Security Director Kraz Full pounded a massive fist on the table. We should destroy that vessel now, while we have the chance. If the humans possess such technology, without understanding how they achieved it. Elder Shima interrupted, without knowing what other surprises they might have. That would be foolish beyond measure. Vex Moore raised all 4 hands for silence. The human captain requests an audience. I believe we must hear what they have to say. You would reward their aggression with diplomatic recognition. Kraz Full growled. I would avoid unnecessary conflict when faced with an unknown technological capability. Vex Moore replied sharply. Bring the human captain to the chamber. Maximum security protocols. Captain Chatri stepped into the Council chamber flanked by Commander Jackson and Dr. Zhang. Despite the gravity of the situation, she couldn't help but feel a surge of vindication seeing the assembled alien representatives, the same beings who had patronized and restricted humanity for 2 decades, now watching her with wary respect. Captain Chatri, High Arbiter Vex Moore began formally. You have violated Council space, demonstrated prohibited weapons technology, and disabled Council vessels. These are serious offenses. With respect, High Arbiter, Chatri replied. The Council's decision to quarantine Earth without consultation or just cause was the first aggressive act. We responded proportionally, disabling your vessels without causing casualties or permanent damage. The quarantine was implemented according to Council protocols for managing emergent species, First Minister Calathar said defensively. Dr. Zhang stepped forward. Protocols designed to ensure Council technological supremacy, Minister. We've decrypted enough of your classified archives to understand the true purpose of your protective guidance programs. A ripple of alarm passed through the Council members. For centuries, Zhang continued, you've systematically retarded the technological development of new spacefaring species. You introduced them to just enough technology to make them dependent on Council trade, while ensuring they never develop capabilities that might challenge your dominance. A necessary measure to maintain galactic stability, Security Director Kraz Full rumbled. New species must be integrated carefully, or controlled permanently, Commander Jackson countered. We've seen the classified species designations. Humanity was categorized as a Type 3 adaptive potential, a species to be indefinitely restricted rather than eventually elevated to full membership. High Arbiter Vex Moore's inner eyelids flickered in what Chatri recognized as discomfort. These are internal Council matters. How you came to possess such information is less relevant than what we intend to do with it. Chatri interjected smoothly. She activated a small device, projecting a holographic display into the center of the chamber. It showed the Prometheus, but also highlighted 12 smaller objects in Earth orbit. While the Council was focused on the Prometheus, we deployed these throughout Sol system, Chatri explained. Their communication nodes, designed to broadcast everything we've learned about the Council's true nature to every species in the galaxy. One command from me, and every sentient being in Council space will know how their development has been manipulated and restricted. You would cause chaos across 17 systems, Vex Moore said, aghast. We would prefer not to, Chatry acknowledged. Which brings us to our terms. Commander Jackson distributed data pads to each Council member. The United Earth government proposes a new relationship with the Galactic Council. No quarantine, no technological restrictions, full diplomatic recognition and trade rights. In exchange, we'll keep your secrets and contribute our unique technological and cultural perspectives to the galactic community. And if we refuse, Krasful growled. Then humanity goes its own way, Chatry said simply. We broadcast what we know, establish our own interstellar alliances with whoever wishes to join us, and defend our interests as necessary. The Prometheus is impressive, but she's not our only achievement. We've prepared for this possibility for years. Elder Shemat Lex, who had been silent throughout the exchange, suddenly laughed. A musical sound that startled everyone present. Well played, humans, the ancient alien said. For 2 decades, we've underestimated you, a mistake we won't make again. Shima looked around at the other council members. They've outmaneuvered us completely. We should accept their terms and welcome them properly. Elder Shima, you cannot seriously suggest, Krasful began. I can and do, Shima interrupted. Look at what they've accomplished while under our restrictions. Imagine what they might achieve working with us instead of despite us. Their adaptability, their innovative thinking. These are assets, not threats, if we're wise enough to recognize it. High Arbiter Vex Moore studied Chatry and her companions for a long moment. You came in a warship, demonstrated a weapon, and threatened us with exposure. These are not the actions of a peaceful species. They're the actions of a species that refuses to be caged. Chatry replied evenly. Humanity has fought its way through countless crises on our homeworld. We've faced extinction multiple times and survived by our ingenuity and determination. We will not allow our potential to be artificially limited, but we would prefer to be allies rather than adversaries. Vex Moore conferred quietly with the other council members. Finally, he turned back to the humans. The council will need time to formally consider your proposal, but as a gesture of good faith, the quarantine order will be suspended immediately. Your vessel may remain at the Nexus as an official diplomatic craft while negotiations proceed. Chatry nodded graciously. Thank you, High Arbiter. Earth looks forward to a new era of mutual respect and cooperation. As they were escorted from the chamber, Commander Jackson leaned close to Chatry. They'll try to find a way around our leverage. Of course they will, Chatry murmured. But they'll also begin to see the benefits of true collaboration with humanity. And by the time they neutralize our current advantage, we'll have developed new ones. Dr. Zhang finished with a small smile. 3 months later, Captain Chatry stood on the observation deck of the Prometheus, watching as ships from a dozen species came and went from the Arcturus Nexus. Beside her, Admiral Okonkwo surveyed the bustling activity with satisfaction. The new trade agreements are already showing results, the Admiral noted. 6 species have approached Earth about direct technological exchange programs outside Council oversight. And the Council itself? Chatry asked. Adapting, slowly. Elder Shima has become humanity's strongest advocate. There's talk of reforming the species classification system entirely. Chatry nodded thoughtfully. They feared us because they didn't understand us. They saw our history of conflict and competition as purely destructive, not recognizing how it drove our innovation. A mistake many have made throughout human history, Okonkwo observed, underestimating humanity's capacity for both destruction and creation. On a nearby display, news footage showed the first official council delegation arriving at the newly constructed diplomatic center in Geneva. After decades of being treated as children, humanity was finally being acknowledged as equals. Not bad for a species that was supposed to remain safely contained in their home system, Chatri said with a smile. The Council is learning what Earth's history has proven time and again, Okonkwo replied. Humanity cannot be contained. We can only be channeled. Better to have us as allies than opponents. Below them, Earth shone blue and beautiful in the void, no longer alone in the cosmos, no longer restricted in its potential. The sleeping giant had awakened, and the galaxy would never be the same.